In the last video on the Cobra, which I just finished filming about 10 minutes ago, we got this thing running for the first time under my ownership. We buttoned up the intake system, the EGR system, mass airflow sensor, wiring, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Topped off the fluids and gave it its first start. Which went pretty well, but we did have some coolant burbling out of the overflow tank towards the end there. Except for that, which is concerning, but we're trying not to panic immediately for a couple reasons. As I mentioned in the last video, these cars are notorious for air bubbles in the cooling system. There's a whole Ford TSB procedure where you gotta raise the car, 18 inches at a 2.7 degree angle and do a dance and spin around 3 times and then bleed from the coolant crossover port here with a funnel and this, that, and the other. It's kind of an ordeal. So what I think happened here is there's just a whole bunch of air in the system. And like I said, I should have checked this. This car has an aftermarket coolant crossover. If you pop this thing off, it's bone dry in there. But the reservoir here is overfilled. So basically I started the car, should have looked at that, but I don't think the thermostat opened because there wasn't any coolant against the thermostat. So got a couple options to start. I think I'm gonna figure out a way to put this or another funnel I have sealed up in there so we can get some coolant up to like here. It's the highest point in the system, try and get as much air out as we can manually. And then I also have my coolant vacuum kit, which is, if you don't have one of these, highly recommend it. I'll leave a link in the description for these things, which is basically gonna pull a vacuum on the entire cooling system and hopefully get out any air pockets that are in there. And then we can try starting this thing again and get it up to temperature. Also, while the coolant is out of the system, I think I'm gonna shorten this tube a little bit. As you can see, this hose is kind of kinked. And if we shorten this up, it would kind of pull that out of it. So I think I'm gonna do that while I'm here as well. So yeah, let's get right to work. Let's button up this cooling system a little bit, see if we can't pull a vacuum on it, and then try starting this thing again and getting it up to temp. Well, I think we got her licked. So it took a combination of a few different things here, which I'll explain in a minute, but we're up to, the fan just came on, so we gotta be up to, yeah, we're at 200, we're at 200, now we're coming down to 198. No more overflowing here. And I know I can feel on the bottom radiator hose that it's hot, so we know the thermostat's open and circulating, so I think we're good. Basically, I started using my vacuum coolant filler, and apparently I didn't have enough coolant, which sucked a bunch more air into the system, and then I was like, well, what if the thermostat's not working? So I just said, screw it, I'm starting fresh, did what I know works, because I've done with these cars in the past, raised the front up, filled it from the coolant crossover, which is right here. This is an aftermarket coolant crossover. Normally it'd be right here until that level in the overflow tank is where it needs to be, and then just kind of burp it from these 2 points, the two highest points in the system, with the heat on in the car on full blast. So we've been idling here for like 30 minutes. Fan just came on. Now we're down to 188. No more overflowing from the coolant tank. So I think we're good, which means I would love to take this thing for a drive, but I don't really like the look of any of that. So unfortunately, I think we're gonna wait until tomorrow when the weather, maybe the next day when the weather clears up. But as of right now, fingers crossed, I think we're good to go on this. It's running really smooth, really good. No check engine lights, no leaks anymore that I can see. So I'm gonna shut it down, we'll let it cool down. We'll check on it, maybe go for a drive the next day or so. Well, the rain finally stopped. For now anyways. But I think it's supposed to start again later tonight, and then it's going to be on and off rain for another like 5 days. So I'd love to get this thing out for a drive and conveniently just mow the lawn, and would like to get some fertilizer down before the rain comes. So instead of taking my F350 to go to Lowe's to get fertilizer, let's take the Cobra. So let's fire this thing up, get it out on the road, see if we've solved our overflowing coolant issue, and see how this thing drives. Get it moving under its own power for the first time. Sounds good. I believe these are the Borla S-type mufflers. Some sort of X-pipe on there, but we haven't even seen this thing up in the air yet. But damn, it looks good outside. Love it. This color is just crazy. All right, well, let's see how this thing drives. First drive in the Cobra. Let's get these gauges up. See how this thing does. Clearly it goes forward and reverse. Clearly it goes forward and reverse, at least in first gear and reverse gear. Let's see how she does. These 4-valve motors, they have such a unique burble to them. Nothing else sounds like them. Love it. All right, let's get to Lowe's. Got some yard work to do. There's second gear, all good. There's third. Man, it's been a while since I've driven a vehicle with a cable clutch. Makes you miss the hydraulic ones. Woo. This thing sounds good. I like it. Oh, that's 45. Nice and smooth. Fourth gear. Temps coming up. We're at 166. So far, so good. This thing runs really good so far. Just being on a bass tune. Not even a half mile down the road, we already got our first thumbs up. Driving great so far. We'll keep an eye on those temps. Oh no, there's water here. Don't get this thing too dirty. Alright, well, we made it to Lowe's. Let's get some fertilizer. Keep driving this thing a little bit, see how the our coolant situation is doing. We're at 176. Doesn't seem to be coming up very fast, so that's a good thing. Gas it. Can't. It's not tuned fully. Probably be fine, but not a good idea. Crispy downshifts. Got our fertilizer. We're on our way back. Coolant temps staying about 180, 185. Seems good. Sixth gear. Car drives perfect, feels tight, smooth, no knocks, banging, weird noises, vibrations. Clutch feels good. Wow, as good as a cable clutch is gonna feel anyways. It seems like we're in good shape. That coolant temp is now steadied out at 190. like to see. Bone dry. Never mind all this stuff from before. But yeah, bone dry, temps are staying exactly where they should be. This thing is running perfect. Ticking away like a Swiss watch. Fan just came on. Nothing leaking. Sweet! This thing is such a cool color in this lighting. Damn. All right, guys, next day here. The first drive yesterday went really, really well. Nothing went wrong. Can't believe it, but everything went perfect. We must have got all the air out of the cooling system finally. Like I said, these things are kind of finicky when it comes to the cooling system. Car runs, stops, goes through all the gears, nice and smooth. Clutch feels good, steering feels good, suspension feels tight. Everything feels good. So could not have asked for the first drive to go better. Unfortunately, I did want to get this thing on the lift so that we could really get a good look at the underside, but I've got the Camaro on the lift right now with a project that kind of has it torn apart. You guys will see that in a few days. And I really don't feel like kind of maneuvering it off the lift, so I think we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Let's get this thing up in the air using the jack, maybe a couple jack stands, take a look underneath, not only just to see what's there, but also just to, you know, do a quick once-over, make sure there's no leaks, make sure we didn't miss anything, and make sure that this thing's good to go, because I did just get a dyno appointment scheduled. So let's get this thing up in the air, check it out. All right, she's up in the air. Let's grab the creeper and a light and go take a look. Looks pretty stock down here, as we already knew and or expected. Stock exhaust manifolds up there, stock lower pulley. Got a billet flow idler up there, we knew about that. I was in the thermostat last week when we did that. Stock springs, stock Bilstein suspension, sway bar, end links and all that. Stock K-member, obviously. Everything looks good down here. I don't see any leaks at all. There's some water that we still need to clean up from the whole coolant debacle we had last week, but other than that, not too bad. I think this is an aftermarket X-pipe. Not sure what brand. No leaks at the rear. No leaks at the transmission. I don't know if that's a stock transmission mount. Looks like we got an energy suspension bushing there, but I'm not, maybe that's the whole mount package or something, but Orla S-type mufflers. The floors look amazing. Everything looks really, really clean, just as we expected for a 21,000 mile car. Pinch welds look good. Let's go look over here. Stock aluminum drive shaft. I don't see any brand on this X-pipe. Let me know in the comments what kind of X-pipe this is. Not that it matters. It's got some high flow cats on it. Sounds awesome. There's our fuel lines, which come up from the tank, up to our filter here, and then up to the regulator up top. Looks good there. Yeah, I mean, no real surprises back here. Everything looks exactly how we would expect for a car with this mileage. Out the back, super clean. IRS cap back, can't really see too much. Again, stock suspension back here. Everything's stock back here as far as I can tell. I believe the previous owner said this thing had 373s in the diff, but I'll have to look at what he sent me again. But other than that, I think it's all stock back here. I really wish I had my lift available, but you know, I can get under here, but it's hard to show you guys exactly what's under here. But it's really not that exciting. This is a 21,000 mile mint condition car that's mostly stock with like a bolt-on X-pipe and mufflers and some return fuel system lines. Doesn't even have subframe connectors. Stock IRS as far as I can tell. No leaks. Pretty standard. But that's what we wanted to see. That's what we're hoping to see. That's all good stuff. Well, no real surprises under the car. Like I said, exactly what we would have expected considering the condition here on the outside. This thing is absolutely mint. Inside, outside, top to bottom. But we did get this car running and driving for the first time under my ownership and the first time in 6 months, maybe a year. I don't know. I don't know when it was parked or taken apart, but it seems to run and drive perfectly. The motor sounds awesome, runs like a Swiss watch. But it's raining out again, so can't really take it outside or do anything else with it right now. But I do, like I said, have a dyno appointment and it's scheduled for tomorrow. So I got a couple things I got to do to get this thing ready, and then we got to get it loaded up and get ready to get out of here. But that's going to be in the next video. Got a video coming on the Camaro, ton more stuff coming on all the cars around here, so I hope you guys will join me for those. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you like this type of content. Hope to see you in the next one.